It's a 20th Century Fox movie.
Okay.
Isn't it weird that the new movie is a Disney movie? That's weird.
Is it? They're going to make a ride out of it probably, Matt. It's the thing you want.
It's just weird.
No one gets hung up on the shit like you.
I actually really like this opening theme by Danny Elfman.
I like Danny Elfman.
It's got the percussion mixed with that sort of falling bass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another highlight of the movie is the score.
Yeah, I like the score.
I like the score right away.
Okay, so we go to the Oberon, the space station, where we meet Pericles, the great chimp.
They instantly fucking lose me.
And I wrote in my notes, I watched this movie twice in the past 2 days. The first time I watched it without Lacey. And I wrote in my notes, Lacey's not going to like this. Because Mark Wahlberg immediately teases Pericles the chimp by offering him a treat, but then not giving it to him.
Give him the treat.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm upset that he's in a full outfit. That monkey doesn't want to be in that full outfit. He looks so sweet.
He's not a monkey, he's a chimp.
That
but
chimp deserves to breathe.
Takes a lot of pride in his work.
He's so sweet. I just the mishandling of something so cute is never going to be okay with me. I realize these humans are nice to him, but that other human was not.
At least give us an ugly chimp.
There are no such thing. Okay.
I read recently about this this thing, I think in the New Yorker, about this AI project of trying to interpret whale communication. And it's like, this AI may one day enable us to make contact with whales.
Do we want that?
And then the question was, what do we say to them? And I think this movie and like Lacey just said, the answer is we probably shouldn't.
They're just going to tell us to stop putting stuff in their water.
Yeah, leave us alone.
It's not going to be a good report on the humans. Yeah, plausible deniability. No need to communicate with the orca.
Okay, so Wahlberg is Captain Leo Davidson. Very anonymous name that rarely ever gets spoken.
Didn't even know he had a name.
And what we learned about him is that he has a group of friends who send him a video message, and there's like 100 people in this video, and they're all just hanging out in bathing suits, and they're waving at him. And I think Tim Burton probably thinks like, this is what normal people do, right? They just get around a small group and they sort of just wobble around in their bathing suits.
I'm engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a space storm,
no.
an electromagnetic storm right outside the Oberon. And they want to put Pericles in the pod to go out and investigate. And Wahlberg's like, I want to I'm an astronaut. I want to go fly out there. But they make his chimp do it instead. And then Pericles the chimp immediately gets lost in the storm. So Wahlberg commandeers a space pod, goes out to look for him himself, and then also immediately gets sucked into the storm. It happens so fast.
Quick. Right. We are not paying these actors. We're getting in this spaceship and right the fuck out of this spaceship.
Yeah. And he crashes onto the planet. This
in this little AirPod. Look at that. It looks like an AirPod. I mean, an earbud.
Well, we see him go through like a wormhole thing. This something's up with this space storm, basically, is what we're saying.
It's real magnetic, guys.
And he's getting mysterious.
See, even that spaceship is like the helmets, kind of. And it's like the Tim Burton visual style.
You're right. It's General Thade's helmet.
If you're looking for the Burton, it will come.
You just got to know
you gotta look for it.
I mean, Danny Elfman also, frequent collaborator, frequent, composer. It's got, Helena Bonham. I think this is the first movie he worked with Helena Bonham Carter, who eventually married or dated or whatever. Mm-hmm. But she was in like every movie after that with him.
Right.
And Tim Roth also worked with him a few times. So he's got people.
Yeah, he and Helena Bonham Carter did the Spider-Man meme with each other. You're a freak like me.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, shut up, man.
Okay. Yeah. He crashes down onto the planet into a bog. And 16 minutes into the movie, we meet our first apes. In the Charlton Heston movie, it takes like 45 minutes before you meet the apes. And like Wahlberg is so nonplussed by any of this. He's like mildly annoyed. He's like, wait a minute.
He's in shock.
He's not even communicating shock. Like, hey, something's up with this planet.
These humans don't have Gillette.
You have to be, if that happened in real life, you have to just, soak it in and take it so you don't get killed right away. You can't stand out immediately. You have to try to just like, if there are a bunch of like, fascists in your room and trying to like, take over your house or your world or whatever, you just have to kind of take it for a minute to try to assess the situation and not jump out and fight right away. You have to try to. I think he's fine. I think he did the appropriate amount of shock and also just keeping it in and just being there and then try to break out as soon as he can.
Well, I mean, and he's put straight down into a stampede of humans running, and he's like, "Well, I'm a human. Mm-hmm. I should run," and he does that. I mean, he's in fight or flight the whole time. Yeah, he's not really dialing it up here, but it didn't bother me.
I know I keep comparing it to the original, but the original has Charlton Heston, who is the most interesting character in the movie, even when he's surrounded by apes. But it has him just like wandering the planet, this empty planet, for like 30 minutes. But there's no awe in this movie. There's no like sense of wonder of what the hell is going on or mystification.
That's true.
And I know that the original exists and they know that you know that.
Exactly.
But they can still try to work to make you feel it a little more. That's all I'm saying.
I think it's on his face.
I think.
So, yeah, we meet Helena Bonham Carter, and she's a human lover. Lacey, can you tell us about Ari, Helena Bonham Carter?
Well, she's too into these humans. She's weird immediately. I end up liking her, but because I know that she is she's the most privileged in this town. She signals that to me. Like, she doesn't have to follow the rules. She can just walk in and out of people's establishments and hang from their bullshit and tell them they're doing stupid things. And she gets to be political and gets to care about rights beyond her own because she is wealthy. So we've got some rich bitch going on here. Mm-hmm. I like that she cares. I mean, we need her, fine, but anyway, she's there's a slave trader,
Limbo,
and he's fucking great. Paul Giamatti is amazing in this role, and I didn't immediately know he was a slave trader, but that makes sense. There's some reimagining there. Perfect, good call, Burton. And he's just kind of like sorting them out and taking the children from their parents and then branding them or whatever, and seeing who fits the bill for whatever need he knows he needs to fill. And the Ari, what did you say her name is? Ari gets close enough to the cage, and our hero sees a rod and goes, I'm threatening your lady here. Woohoo. But she immediately connects to him, and he is saying, help me. I'll make it worth your while, in her ear. And she, because she knows that the slave trader just wants their money, she says, I will buy him, give me him.
And crucially, you're hot, so yes.
Does she? That's bothering me. Does she think humans are hot? She think that?
She thinks this human is hot.
That's fucking bizarre.
This is a horny AF performance.
It is so horny. But then the lady, the sexy fucking, like, God forbid there's not a sexy wild thing there. He also demands they take her too. I don't remember why. Because he's horny. Everybody's horny.
Yeah. They I think another reason I might like this movie is this whole town feels kind of Disney World. Like, it feels like a very practical set, but kind of small scale. Like, you could go walk through it at Disney World.
I felt that way about the first one too. Just felt a little more rustic.
Yeah, she buys Mark Wahlberg, she buys Leo Davidson and the woman whose name apparently is Dinah or Dana.
I'm sure it's Dinah.
Estella Warren.
Whatever.
Who, they were trying to make a thing. She was a synchronized swimmer and a model, and they were trying to put her into movies. But she takes them into service in her house, and they have a big ape dinner party with all of Ape High Society, including Otho himself, Glenn Shadix, who plays a big orangutan, and his weirdo wife. And General Thade comes in. General Thade, the villain of the movie.
Does anyone like him? He darkens the door every time he walks through it. Everyone just seems to be disturbed by him.
Yeah, but
you know what he is? He's on Game of Thrones. He's the bastard.
He's Ramsay Bolton.
He's Ramsay Bolton. Everybody knows he's not well, capable of huge cruelty. He will make your life hell if you get on the wrong side of him. He's got enough power to influence that, but not all the power. He still needs stuff. But I mean, as soon as he comes in the room fucking changes. Why?
Yeah.
I mean, is it working? Was this
What meaning? Do we like this performance?
I mean, the performance is good, but does it fit in this movie?
I don't know.
It feels no one else is acting this way.
Yeah, I don't think the performance is good. I like Tim Roth, but I think he overacted the hell out of this role. I don't know why he's so angry in every breath he has. He's got one small scene with Ari, who apparently they're kind of love interest, or at least he wants to in the past or whatever, and he's a little more softer. But generally, he's rough, at a 10 scale of anger all the time, and it's just so annoying, even to Paul Giamatti, who's just doing his job, and he's jumping out at him and what are you doing, and you smell like humans, all that stuff. It's shut up, man, just keep it down a little bit. Can you just be cool and evil over there and not be evil with all your other
right? I'm so glad you agree.
They're on your team.
I appreciate that he's making choices, but they're the wrong ones. I mean, he's just turning it up to 11 and it's not dialed in, but the whole movie seems so poorly conceived that there's no
consistency.
It doesn't fit with anything else. It does.
Thank you. I'm so glad that this is true, because you've got something so silly like the wife of Ortho, where she's so Manhattan, so human. And then this.
This dinner scene, they drop a lot of threads that seems like maybe they're going to follow, but they don't. They suggest that once upon a time they tried a welfare system for humans, but it didn't work out. And then also the humans are repopulating way faster than the apes, and we're encroaching on their habitats. So it's wait a minute, is this a metaphor for... But it's the movie's not interested in going to any of those directions. And then the senator, who's played by David Warner, who's Helena Bonham Carter's father, he invites Thade over and he's like, Thade, you're a little too extreme. And then Thade quotes Barry Goldwater and he says, extremism in defense of apes is no vice, Senator. They're throwing so much at you. But the movie's not interested in really following any of these threads.
Well, plus the random absurd cruelty to their servants. This family, who you respect, has chosen to have humans in their home and they treat them a certain way. But you're just going to put all the food on the floor, number one, and then it just doesn't make sense. Who would tolerate this if they weren't all just really scared of this kid?
They're all really scared of this kid. This is
fucking kill him then.
Now, this is what happens. This is what bullies do. Nobody actually likes the bully, but everybody's afraid because they don't want to be the one standing up by themselves.
Yeah,
it's very powerful and well observed, actually.
Fine.
And Michael Clark Duncan, I believe, plays Colonel Atta, and he mentions the great Semos, which I guess is an anagram for Moses, but he prays to Semos, and everybody else in the table kind of goes along to be polite. But it seems like he's the only one who maybe actually believes in Semos, the great Messiah who will one day come back.
Well, because all these people are elites who already know the actual way that the religious part was passed down and created by other apes, right? So maybe he's at a need to know level of work, a class level where he still buys in and thinks they all buy in. So he's being respectful, but he also just looks like an idiot because he doesn't realize they all know the truth.
I gotcha. It's Scientology, but he hasn't reached.
He's putting on for
yet.
You guys are the most religious, right? So I'm gonna excuse me. I'll say grace, and everyone's like, Jesus Christ, we made it up. We made it up. Yeah, it's like that.
It's hard to know who really understands the Semos, has a faith, and who has the truth. Who it's not really clear.
Yeah, it's not.
And because later in the movie, Michael Clark Duncan makes a big deal about everything I believed was a lie. And it's but I'm sorry, I can't follow you. So you did believe, and you believed because he told you to believe, but now you realize I can't track it all.
But Michael Clark Duncan is the person that's on that level. He's not, because even the powerful bully kid didn't find out anything until his dad was on his deathbed. So it's he just happened to be in a room where most of the people probably knew. I don't know.
I mean, you can figure that out once you go through the movie,
right,
movie like this. But
in real time, it's like, what is happening?
Yeah. Wahlberg pretty easily escapes his cage.
Very easy.
And then Helena Bonham Carter helps him. And then he's like, if you come with me, I'll show you something that'll change your world forever. And so they run into the woods where his...
That's not what they do. They get all the other people too.
Okay, they get the other people too. They go to where his spaceship is crashed in the bog. We find out apes are afraid of water, very conveniently. Shit, I meant to look up if real apes are scared of water.
Because that is a random little thing plucked from nowhere. Is that in the book?
No, that's not in the book. But it helps them escape later. But yeah.
Well, the limitation in the first one is that they don't know about flight. There are no birds. They've never even seen an airplane fly through the air. It's magic. And they're not even allowed to really talk about it. And that's how they keep their people contained. So I guess maybe it's a myth in their religion that apes cannot swim, because that's how they keep them contained, right? Keep them away from the forbidden areas. They have to cripple their people in some kind of major way, transportation wise, mobility wise. It's such a small colony when you think about the vastness of that planet. It's tiny.
Just the 1968 movie had so much about like the ape elites concealing this forbidden knowledge that this movie kind of hints at, but doesn't seem that interested in. And when you watch the original now, that stuff is so powerful. Because like you can see it as a metaphor for anything, any kind of revolutionary idea, or just any kind of idea
method
that they
to
don't
control.
Want you to,
Oh, there's a very easy formula to controlling lots and lots of people and not being lots and lots of people yourself. And it's this fear.
I have a quick answer about the water situation. I looked it up while you were talking. And they said that some apes fear water like gorillas, but some chimps like playing in water, but they can't swim very well because they have more muscle than fat, and so they don't have much buoyancy like humans do.
Got it.
So it's kind of both.
Okay.
I was wondering, I forgot to look this up, or just rewatch this part of the movie. In the beginning, when they have on the spaceship, they have all the chimps in cages. Do we see other species of apes? Do they have orangutans and gorillas?
Oh, that's such a good point. No, I mean, we don't see it.
Oh yeah. On the spaceship? Yeah, I think there's a few of them. You don't see it, but there's several apes that they're experimenting on. So like you don't see Seamos, which I don't know what kind of animal he is. Is he a chimp or is he a gorilla or what? But it's I think there's several of them, because how else would they all evolve? How would they have
That's Matt's
these
point,
right?
They
must
society?
have.
They didn't have them on the ship.
I just like, if you're doing a scientific experiment, isn't it easier to just have one kind of ape?
I know. You're just saying Matt has discovered a plot hole.
A plot hole.
Well, Joshua is more forgiving than you, and he just fills it in for them.
I did too.
He fills in the hole with the dirt. Okay.
I filled in the hole too. I was just wondering.
Okay.
And I tried to find out, are there instances of apes in the wild interacting with other species of apes, and what happens? And apparently doesn't happen very often.
I didn't think so. I did find that interesting that they were like kind of giving you a potpourri of all the different, and that someone like a baboon, which is what I think Ortho is, right? Like
baboons aren't apes. He's an orangutan.
Oh, orangutan. Right. He's like from Jungle Book. That he would be in a high position because he is so different from all the other ones. And then whatever, they give you a bunch like Tim Burton he gives you a bunch to look at, not necessarily a lot of explanation.
The book and the Charlton Heston movie do make a point of chimps are like the scientists, gorillas are the muscle, and orangutans are like the government.
Okay.
And this movie's like, nah, they're all just mixing together.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
It's fine.
They mix them all up.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg, he gets his bag and he has some tech stuff, and he's like, wait a minute, this is saying the Oberon's on this plane. I gotta get over to my ship. And he also has a gun, and this...
It's the only thing he gets out of his bag besides that little Tamagotchi.
The Tamagotchi guides him to the Oberon. Mm-hmm. But I like the choice of these apes in this movie don't have guns.
Yeah, I like that too.
Guns is like the equalizer to the people who are more physically imposing than you.
They even say that.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
Back in the ape village, General Thade goes up to Ari's dad and is like, your daughter's been kidnapped. It's time for you to grant me emergency powers to successfully prosecute this war against the humans. And we just talked about the movie X-Men 2, and I realized the exact same thing happens in that movie.
Yep.
And I was kind of mixing them together in my head. But in this movie, like, we never see what powers he actually gets, how anything has changed, what he's doing now that's different.
He just doesn't have to ask for permission to kill at will. It's what it seems like to me. It just means, well, it's martial law. Means I make the law. I'm the marshal.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go kill everybody. Right. Exactly. You don't have to get the orders from the Sentinel. Right?
Yeah, but it seemed like he was doing whatever he wanted anyway.
The monkey puns are fucking endless for you. Matt has named this slide Charlton Heston. It sounds like a...
Those are not for public consumption.
It just sounds like a disease. It doesn't sound good at all. Anyway, okay.
Charlton Heston.
That's so stupid. All right. So now is when we go in to see the dying father of the madman who I cannot commit his name to memory. I'm sorry. Thade.
General Thade.
General Thade. He's going to see Papa. Exactly. I'm not doing it.
Is there a soul in there?
You're
That's General
creeping me out.
That's his famous
listen to
line.
the way that Tim normally talks, or like any other movie he's done, and this one you couldn't even tell it's him. Like his voice,
I can't tell.
It's so crystal and so angry, and every little breath you take,
honey bunny.
It's like, come on, you can be mean and just don't have to be like
right. And when he dials it back for just that moment, it's like that. It's like such a nice like breath to take when he's just that moment you talked about earlier with Chari. What's her fucking name? Yeah. Ari. And it's just
Ari.
like, yeah, it's just like, there you go. Take it to a 9. That feels real nice. All right. So he goes in to see his dying dad, who is played by Charlton Heston. A little bit of a waste, but I can kind of see that it's him. I mean, if he's alive, we need to bring him in, right? And I mean, his dad just so in tune with his psychopath
nice
son. Yeah. I can't tell if it's a slap in the face.
I wish we got to see
he's
more of his character, though. He didn't do a lot.
Exactly.
He's got like basically one scene where he's dying. I would like to see like why he, I don't know, just a little more about what he's about.
Heston was not going to give them more than a day of this.
But he gave him full makeup? Is it not a slap?
If he has to do another day of makeup, he's not doing that shit. What
I'm saying is I can't believe he didn't play a human. I thought for sure he would have been like scraggly old man guy, like just some other guy in a cage. See, that's more interesting to me.
That's what they would do today. They'd be like, "There's rumors of a man in the desert.
Exactly.
Who knows what's going to? Then you find him, and it's Taylor from 1968.
I love that.
And you realize it's a sequel, not a remake.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they could have done that. I like that they made him an ape.
All right, fine. But okay, so he's just so in touch with his emotionally inaccessible son. But I think he's probably just feeling a little paranoid because he's about to die and he needs to pass some secrets on. Son, I feel like there's something you're not really telling me about this human you hate so much. Is it because you think he's an astronaut and that I'm lying to you your entire life and there's ancient secrets? Yes, Dad.
That's a mighty specific thing, but yes.
That's what happened.
Maybe that's why.
You're lying to me, Papa. Well, son, go break that giant decorative ornament and find the ashes of your ancestors plus a really broken gun. And
ornament?
Yeah, that ornament. And hold it the wrong way, you idiot.
But the secret is guns. Guns are what humans do. It's what was their undoing. And hey, how about this? They're making Charlton Heston say this about guns when Charlton Heston... What did Charlton Heston love in life? What did my grandfather, lifetime NRA member, have on his wall? A framed letter from Charlton Heston thanking him for a lifetime of service to the NRA.
That is so true.
And in the scene, he's like, oh, the guns are the worst thing that ever happened to us.
Or he just turns around and says, that's right, guns make us human.
I meant to watch the scene again.
How did they talk him into doing this?
Right.
I meant to watch the scene again and see, is the gun ever in frame with Heston?
Is it pro?
Did they lie to him about what this scene is? And he doesn't actually know that they're talking about a gun?
Yeah, I don't think it is either.
It might not be. It just
right,
it's broken in a little base, and then Thade holds it, but I don't think you see him. He doesn't point it at him or anything. I don't think you really see it.
Yeah, it's not in the frame. They told Charlton Heston
on the bed.
Something else is in that face.
It's eyeglasses. It's eyeglasses that make. Don't ever let them see well, or they'll take over the world. There's got to be other artifacts. It's a Nintendo Switch. Don't give this to them.
So yeah, Charlton Heston was just months away from getting harassed by Michael Moore at his house.
What, Bowling for Columbine?
Yeah.
So where did that gun come from, do you think?
Just back from
because
the days
this is not
of
Earth,
Seamos.
right? In this movie, this is not Earth. I mean,
it would have been on.
They have guns on the astronaut ship.
They had to have. Yeah.
Yeah, because Wahlberg.
You're right. It's kind of a shit gun.
No, Wahlberg has one in his pouch.
But it's
on
a
the
nice one. But it's a nice silver gun.
Yeah, but
this is a bad.
This one has
ugly
aged.
gun.
This one has aged over thousands of years.
Wait, and Mark Wahlberg has like some sort of hybrid gun blaster thing from like Star Wars. His gun shoots lasers. That's a weird gun.
Fine.
This is just a. All right.
I think there's no doubt this is supposed to have come from the
Oberon.
from the
ship. It comes from. It was very clever of them to make the wreckage of the Oberon ship look like the points of the Statue of Liberty's crown, right? Because the whole Jesus fucking Christ. Because the whole time you just think you're looking at the wreckage you're expecting. And he's just discovering it a lot sooner and not knowing what he's in. But then, okay, you're like, oh, you're in a fucking working ship. Never mind.
To throw you off, yeah.
But you see why Thade hates humans, because his father, Charlton Heston, also hates humans. In fact, he says, damn them all to hell. And then he reaches out his hand, hold my hand, son. And then he dies.
He died. Just like the snake did that we had. Died right in front of me. I was like, oh, look. The snake, Frank, is perking up, and he sticks his little head out. And
just to hold your mummy. And then
I've never seen something die in real time except my dad and that snake. And they're both named Frank.
Oh, my God.
I didn't even think of that. Crazy.
So,
you doomed that snake from the beginning.
Yeah, we should have second guessed that decision. Also shouldn't have given him cigarettes.
The snake, he loved them.
So the whole time they've been mentioning Kalima. It's like our Holy Land or whatever. It's like the Forbidden Zone from the first movie. Kalima. And you're like, I'm sure Kalima is going to be revealed to be something. Oh, it's actually California, Louisiana, Mexico or something. But Lacey, what happens next in the movie?
Okay, well, they reach a camp. Fuck, I don't know why he knows he needs to go that way. Oh, because his little Geiger counter is pointing. Yep. All right. So Captain Astronaut is following his Tamagotchi, and it's taking them into the path of a giant camp of apes who are military apes. I'm not completely sure why it is that they're on the border of the water. Is it to protect them from getting into Kalima, or is it that they always camp there? They love being by the water they're scared of. Oh, I thought you were about to clap. Like, what did I do? All right.
Yeah.
The two apes with them, or three, are deathly scared. Three. Deathly scared of water, but there's no time. We got to go straight through. And look, you guys, horses. Oh my God. And so they all get a horse and they plow through the camp. And the slave trading ape is mistreated and bloodied by his brethren. And now he's fully on the side of the humans that he's been traveling with. Also, there's a moment of weakness from Ari, who returns to the ape camp, I think because she's feeling jilted by...
No, that's later.
But she got the thingy on her hand.
Well, she goes back.
That's later?
That's later. Oh. And I think she's going to, she's not feeling jilted. She's trying to trick General Thade. Anyway, this is just obstacle. If they overcome the obstacle, they make it through the ape military camp, and they arrive at Kalima, which is just the Oberon. Mark Wahlberg's like, this is my ship. It's been here 1,000 years. What's going on?
I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't expect that.
Oh, see, yes, this is the shit I like.
Yeah, this is now I'm like, let's get into it. What are we gonna do with this ship? We're gonna make it fart one time.
And we find out Kalima is just caution live animals
I didn't even notice that.
with a tiny little bit of dust over very strategically covered letters that they then blow off, and they're like, this isn't Kalima at all.
How'd that dust get like that, huh? You would have to blow it like in different pathways to get it like that. That doesn't fall in different
what brushed onto it
on a sign like that. It's weird. You also realize that Kalima sounds just like the curse in Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom. Kalima, isn't that what he says?
Kalima, yeah.
Kalima.
You're right, it does.
Live animals in those caves also. We never knew.
They were eating monkey brains. It's a callback.
Lacey remembered a movie. How about that?
I know movies. I know monkey brains.
Wait, my headcanon is that like an ancient Thade ancestor actually is the one who covered up the letters.
They could have picked any arrangement of letters. Who cares? We're stuck on something strange here.
Who cares?
I mean, they didn't have to name it at all. They could just name it whatever they wanted to.
Thing that makes me feel like he came home is when his Tamagotchi clicks into the little holder. I mean, his hand opens the thing. That's cool. But like in case people miss that, he then goes and clicks his little thing in his ship. And just in that moment, they all believe I'm like, yeah, I come from this ship. And then it lights up and lights come on or whatever. And then he sees warning messages, and it's a call back to the beginning when the guy in the Oberon was like, "We're getting quite the mayday. It's all scrambled. We don't know what it is." So it's actually a callback. They were getting a mayday message whenever Mark Wahlberg snuck into his little pod and entered the metallic storm, whatever. It's actually them from the future. They had landed on that planet looking for Mark Wahlberg, and the apes rapidly started becoming smart and in tune or something, and they took over, and it's them very conveniently explaining what happened to them before they die. In fact, the lady is telling us the last little tidbit and then dies on camera. So
yeah, it is helpful. They're like, once we crash landed on this planet, our apes suddenly became very helpful. In fact, there's one ape named Simos who's very intelligent and very Oh no, Simos, no! I think
you're attacking me. Don't kill me.
Right, you're not. Don't love Mama. Don't love Mama like this. Mama don't like that.
They say at the beginning of the movie that Pericles is about to be a father. The implication that
it's a cool little twist.
To be clear, cool. I love this. This is the reason I like the movie. I love this shit.
I like it. But I was saying I got so heartwarmed when he popped his little gadget into the hole and it lit up that if that were me, if I were him, I would sit there for hours and I'd just keep connecting it, it'd be the only thing that felt like home.
It's very satisfying.
It's very satisfying. Okay.
Well, is the implication, because they say at the beginning of the movie that Pericles is about to be a father, is Pericles' new son, is he supposed to be Simos?
Maybe he evolved because if that planet made the primates on the ship more helpful, there's something in the nutrients, something in the water, something that's like enriching their brains and helping them rapidly grow and become more intelligent. So maybe a primate born on that island can just rapidly evolve. I don't know.
Wahlberg says that Pericles is like genetically altered to be smarter.
Oh.
So, and I looked up the name. I mean, Pericles was an ancient Greek statesman, so I looked up Simos. Was Simos his son? Nope. Simos, no, not a reference to anything.
It's a delicious cola.
Yeah. Now all the humans, because this planet has lots of humans. Remember, they're populating much faster than we apes in our affluence and lethargy can. They're going to overrun us quickly. Well, now here are all the humans gathered. And they're looking for a leader. They're looking for you, Captain Mark Wahlberg. And he's like, I have no interest in leading anybody to do anything. I only care about myself. So
there you go. That is very honest of you.
This is the point at which Ari goes to see General Thade and offers herself as a sexual partner. And he takes a brand that is very conveniently in his tent and brands her. And he's like, you want to be like the humans that live like them. And now she has a brand. And this is why Wahlberg decides he will be a hero after all. He's going to be the inspirational hero to all these humans in their war for the planet of the apes.
Which his big plan is, this ship has enough nuclear power in it to blow its engine at a group of first battalion.
That's right.
The front line, the least important of the apes.
Well,
we're gonna catch them on fire. That'll do it.
It's a military, tactic. That's a big weapon. Like basically saying, like every time you come closer to me, whoever all the ape, generals are going to blow you up. So they don't know this is one time, or we don't know how many times they can really do that. So it's just to scare the hell out of the apes. You saw this giant fireball.
That's true.
And then the battle sequence. I think it's pretty well done. I know Lacey didn't like it. What do you think about it, Joshua? Just as a pure action sequence, the big war.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I don't think it's anything technical like that exciting or anything. It's got some more of the jumping. I don't like the jumping apes in this movie. I don't think they jump way too high, like on trampolines. I don't like that kind of stuff. Yeah. So do some of that here, I think. But I don't have a problem with the fight in general. But why I do have a problem with, again, some of the problems with the script, like how all the humans from all the different tribes all over the world come together at one moment. They say like, "Oh, we've heard about your legend and stuff like that." Well, how did they hear about it? No one's talked about it. The people that know about him, it's been like 1 day or 2 days, and they're all in one area. They're all still with him. No one went to go talk to the human tribes, and they have no way of communicating. So like, how did that? Plot. There's a lot of plot contrivances in this movie, and as I saw it again just a couple of days ago, then that's when I really saw the problems of the script again, more than I did when I was a teenager.
The power and magnetism of Captain Leo Davidson, as played by Mark Wahlberg, is so resonant that it just crosses land masses, and people hear about it in distant lands and say, "I need to go seek out this man and hear him."
It just wafts through the forests.
The most limp dick moment of his career when he tries to rabble rouse the fucking. I'm here, and you guys. An explosion, so let's get him.
I think and I think I will blame Tim Burton on this. I think that his characters, his heroes are almost always misfits and oddballs.
Right. That is not what this man is. This man is attractive.
Like, does he have a movie other than this, like where he has like somebody is just trying to be a sincere, inspirational hero who you can follow? Like, I watched Sleepy Hollow last night, and Johnny Depp plays Ichabod Crane, and he said, "I'm playing him like a scared 13-year-old," and he's supposed to be the hero of the movie. Like, that's what Tim Burton likes to do. He likes to like undermine his heroes. So I think it's just
Tim Burton can't envision.
I mean, besides Batman, I don't really see a lot of his like heroic, big, legendary characters like doing that.
But his
Batman's a misfit too, though.
That's why his Batman movies are so good. Is because Batman, Bruce Wayne are such weird people.
Yeah, he's an introvert, shut in.
Yeah. He hangs upside down from a crowbar after having sex with Vicky Vale. Anyway, they basically, the war is raging, but then the ape from the sky appears in his spaceship, Pericles. He lands. And I think it's kind of cool. The whole battle stops because they're all like, "Oh my God, Simos is real. He's come. He's returned just like they always said he would." Mm-hmm. But it's just Pericles, the chimp, who is able to land the pod, which Mark Wahlberg was unable to do, successfully land the pod. And I like that they kept saying at the beginning of the movie, he's trained to return to the Oberon. That's his training, and that's what he's trying to do. He knows the ship is here. I got to return to it.
I didn't think of that. That makes sense. But I just love that the person most fit, the two people, I guess, most fit to actually lead this planet going forward, the two apes are Ari, and then her partner that dies, which that's sad to me. But a child, I mean, that's all you can think about when you see Pericles, right? I mean, he's a sub-in for a child. You'd have to take care of him that way. That Mark's big idea is like, well, here's a baby. You're a woman. You like baby, right? Here's a baby. Okay, bye. Yeah. I'm going to Earth now. Look, it's like, don't bog down this woman with a child.
His ideas are not the most advanced.
God. That's the president of this city, or Earthy, or Planety, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, his ideas are not that enlightened about gender roles. It's true.
Fine.
So Pericles runs into the Oberon. He gets chased by Thade and Leo Davidson. And Leo starts shooting at Thade with the gun, but then Thade gets the gun, and there's just some back and forth, and it ends with Thade, Tim Roth getting locked in a thing.
I love that.
Wait, how would we describe the thing he gets locked in? He just closes the door on him.
Well, it's just the area. It's the main. Right. It's just a room. It's just a room that Mark knows he can open with his hand and close it with his hand. Yeah, it's mission control, or maybe even it could be something very important. But whatever it is, it has a door, and that's what's important. Yeah. It is satisfying that he conquers the villain by closing a door on him, by pressing his hand on a thing. I'm like, that's that. And I like that Thade, shoots,
putting his hand on something that's been there for thousands of years and still works.
Right.
There's nuclear power on the ship. It'll last for 1,000 years.
A little more conveniences.
But I like when Thade starts shooting the gun, it starts ricocheting on him, and then he just cowers under the desk, and he's scared, and he's just a poor little chimp at that point.
It makes me sad when he does that.
It's also sad that Pericles gets wounded, and he crawls back into his cage.
And he just wants to go lay down. God, he just looks too much like our kid.
Yeah,
that's all I could think about.
Our kid looks like a chimpanzee.
He does. No, well, the way that he's just a sweetheart. He's just doing what he's told. He doesn't feel good. He's going to lay down in his room.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's sweet and sad.
But they don't kill Thade. They just leave him there. Again, I like that. This is setting up the end of the movie. Ari begs Wahlberg to stay. Please stay. He's like, absolutely not. I'm getting the fuck out of here. But they still kiss. Ugh. He happily leaves in his pod. He leaves Pericles behind. There is a funny moment where Limbo, Paul Giamatti's like, I want to thank you.
You're skipping one. Before he kisses her, he kisses Ari, the chimp, out of nowhere, like just to say goodbye. And it's a weird romantic kiss too. And then he kisses her. And they're both weird, like forced, creepy kisses. Because they didn't earn these love interests anyway.
No. It's just like...
He really had to just do that kiss. I don't know if they're trying to be like provocative or something, but it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. I mean, she liked him, Ari liked him, but he didn't necessarily like her. But then like he's kind of like having like a pity kiss, I guess, to leave.
Yes.
He had to do it on the lips. I don't know.
It is a pity kiss.
And then to do it to her, to Stella Warren, because she's like human. They were never romantic the whole time. Like all of a sudden, it just seems weird. I think she kissed him because maybe she was jealous of the Ari kiss or something. But I don't know. The whole thing was weird.
There is a scene earlier where Stella Warren is watching Mark Wahlberg and Helena Bonham Carter sitting close to each other by the fire. Yeah. And she looks really pissed and storms away.
And she walks away. Yeah. She's definitely wants to mate with him. Yeah. But I thought it would just be funny if he just kind of rounded out the set, and then he just went and like kissed, on like the slave trader, and then he kissed the little boy, and then he just kept kissing. That would have been funny.
This is what we do back on Earth when we leave.
Right. And I'm going to miss you. And I'm going to miss you. And then he kisses the monkey on the lips, his Pericles.
He's kissing both of these women because he knows like this is the quickest way out of this.
Right. Yes. He's like, okay, well, awkward. Dad. You both wanted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a true...
Again, he wants to just get the fuck off this planet and never think about it again.
He's a sailor leaving for shore leave. He knows he's going to something better that is not this.
I like Paul Giamatti. He's like, you've opened my eyes to a whole new world of trade with the humans. Now, kids, who wants aspirin? I like that he hasn't learned anything. Mm-hmm. So now the end of the movie. Lacey, explain what happens at the end of this movie.
All right. So he gets... you know what happens to Captain Theo Greyjoy, or whatever the fuck his name is? Mm-hmm. He gets exactly what he deserves. He hops in the pod, leaving everyone behind after completely changing their world. They don't know what the hell to do with themselves, plus giving a baby to a perfectly fine woman who was going to be a leader. And he goes into the same time warp electric storm and thinks he's gonna go. I'm gonna go to Earth, with all my bros, because I don't want to miss the wedding of my friends. That lady got engaged in that video that they sent me. And then what do you know? It says Earth on his little computer, and I was like, Matt, what if it says Earth? He just saw it wrong. Earth. Anyway, okay. So he goes to that planet and he lands and it's a human talking to him. And you do not have permission to land. It all sounds very America. It sounds very air traffic controlica. and you realize, oh, silly, you're landing in the freaking memorial long swimming pool thing that's right in front of
the mall.
Right in front of the mall. That's
what it's called, the mall.
I know.
Okay.
You're landing right into the Lincoln Monument. And he's like, well, I'm going to have a big bill on here, but at least I'm back to Earth. And he goes up the steps, and Abe is Ape.
Yeah.
He's Ape Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
What a twist.
Yeah.
I nailed it.
He's back on Earth, but now it's filled with apes. What the hell? Audiences hated this ending.
I like it.
When I saw it as a kid, I was so confused, but I still liked it. But they had to include an insert to the DVD to explain how this works.
Do you have it with you there, Josh? Joshua, did you just pick up an insert?
I actually own this one on 2-disc collector's edition on DVD because I did like it, and I watched all the extras and stuff again for this not commentary but discussion podcast. There's one little part that says like, oh, what if somebody came before Leo got back? And apparently that's what they did. So they'd gotten in his spaceship at some point, and the way that this, the answers for this, why this, people are like, oh, how did this happen? It doesn't make any sense. It makes sense with time travel,
right.
Shenanigans. You saw how the Pericles got in. He left before Leo did and got in the thing, and he arrived way later than him. Well, the same thing that happened to Thade. He left later than Leo did, but he got there way earlier than he did. That's because time travel is not cyclical. It's not linear. So that's how it happened. And he was able to influence. I don't know. Maybe he brought a bunch. I didn't. Somebody they got the whole spaceship dock working. They brought a whole bunch of armies in there, and they took over. And they eventually, over thousands of years, I guess they took over the human race again. And that's how they. It's weird that it's Lincoln, but it just should be like some kind of politician. It doesn't have to be Lincoln's figure or like 1600s. It has to be, someone they made a statue of because he led the people to freedom or whatever, or human apes to freedom.
I think that the movie technically does show you that like the electromagnetic storm like reflects time, so things that happen later on one end will happen earlier on the other end, but it doesn't make it very clear. Yeah. And like I definitely didn't realize that when I watched it for the first time, and then I turned on Tim Burton's commentary, and he's not helpful at all. He's like, I just thought this ending would be like cool or something.
I thought it was cool. You can't escape your problems. You're going to have to deal with people being different from other things, and you're going to have to find a way to live on the planet you're on in harmony with these things. And that's what I thought the message was. Is like, you want to get in this pod, and you got on that spaceship and made that decision to do the work you were doing because you were probably trying to run from something or make something better, or you thought there was something better out there. And then you leave this planet because you're running and you think there's something better out there, and you just keep finding yourself in the same place. And I think that's the message, right?
Just stay where you are. Don't do anything.
No, just find a way to get along. We're all just going to keep finding each other.
Okay.
I win. I win the podcast.
I love this ending, and I love this idea of time travel of like, there's nothing you can do to stop people in the future from fucking with you right now, which is kind of what Tenet is about. But they left Thade alive, and he had the rest of his life to figure out how to use a spaceship, and now he can totally change the past.
I get what you're saying now. I understand what you meant about Thade going anywhere, at any way. I got you.
So I really like the ending.
I really like the ending too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do too. I think it's something different. It stands out. And it's a good twist, and it makes sense if you think about it. And the first time I did watch it, I was confused by that too. But then watching this the second time or the third time, was the third time at least I watched it, I was like, yeah, because it shows you how the Pericles comes later, and it shows how and the original spaceship also came later after them, arrived thousands of years before they did. So it's not clear how when you're going to come back, and it makes sense. And then I'm really mad that they didn't follow up on a sequel to this because of it didn't do well in the box office. A bomb, people don't like it, whatever. But that's why they left it open like that, to do it, to explain it more in the sequel. They were planning on doing that.
It actually did do really well. It was a big hit. The studio, it was the rare instance of the studio knowing that nobody liked it and there wasn't an appetite for a sequel. It was remarkable restraint. Because usually
it was a hit, but Tim Burton wasn't interested in doing another one,
right?
And without and I guess maybe everybody just had a bad experience. They weren't going to get any of the same people back on the project.
The reviews were bad. The only person who liked it was 13-year-old Matt Stokes. So
okay, well, you said it was a hit. So like, who the fuck's so you're saying the Rotten Tomatoes is like really skewed on this one?
Huge hit.
See, I think it was a hit, but I don't think people went to see it and then left the theater saying that was bad.
Oh, okay. So
but they already had their money.
It just had a big.
It made
drop.
only $180 million in America on a $100 million budget, and $362 million worldwide. So it's a hit.
That's big for 2000. No, for 2001,
decent enough for a
big.
sequel.
That's really big for. I mean, much less successful movies have gotten sequels. For 2001. That's pretty big. Let's see where it ranks in 2001.
I want to look to see if there's like any remnants of what would happen in that sequel. What kind of an outline or something, because I think it's a great idea. I mean, this time it is Earth, and apes have taken over.
Where would you go? Where would you go though?
Well, I wish they would just. I'm a little annoyed. I really want to see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I'm excited for it, but I also had that high on my list before I even saw the trailer. I'm a little annoyed by the premise. Again, humans still being there and still being like, oh, let's be nice to humans and have equality. I don't want that storyline anymore. I want more of the storylines from the sequels like Dawn and War, where it's more about the apes and more about their culture and more about what they're doing. And forget the humans. Kill them off, keep them in a different area or whatever. I don't want to keep discussing them, but they keep doing it. So that's what I would do. I would get rid of the humans.
Yeah, I think they'd probably make it about a human resistance or something.
Like them really getting together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
taking it back.
I don't think they were like, I think now the new Apes movies are very much about the apes, and there are very few human characters. And the apes are way more interesting than the humans. But they're probably, back then they thought, no, nobody's going to want to see a movie that doesn't have any people in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Avatar wasn't a thing yet.